Hi everyone, this is Zhenghai Xue. Today I will show you our recent work, Guided Policy Optimization with Imperfect Online Demonstrations. This work is co-authored with Zheng Haopeng, Quanyi Li, Zhihan Liu, and Bolei Zhou. Before discussing the technical details, let's first look into the framework of expert-in-the-loop RL. Consider a common case in the driving school, where a human expert sits next to a student to ensure safe driving. Expert-in-the-loop reinforcement learning follows a similar practice. It introduces an expert-teacher policy in a standard loop of decision-making. When the agent is in dangerous regions and cannot act safely, the expert teacher will take over the control and provide online demonstrations. The demonstrations will be recorded for the agent to learn from. One issue with this framework is that it assumes an expert-teacher policy is available. In practice, it is time-consuming or even impossible to obtain a good teacher policy before training. So, a natural question is, what can we do if we do not have an expert and only have an imperfect teacher instead? As shown in the figure, we carry out an experiment where teacher policies with different levels of performance are considered. Unfortunately, our experiments show ECPO, which is a SOTA algorithm in expert-in-the-loop RL, is constrained by the imperfect teacher. We will then discuss why ECPO cannot outperform the imperfect teacher. ECPO has an action-based intervention function. The teacher will intervene if the action sampled from pi t has a low likelihood under the agent's policy distribution pi s. This is somewhat similar to imitation learning, punishing the agent if it behaves differently. Let's look into an example in autonomous driving. In this scenario, the ego car in blue is driving behind the front car in gray. A conservative teacher will keep following the front car, while the student proposes to overtake. In such situations, the agent to overtake will have a low likelihood. So intervention happens, and the teacher policy takes control. Through our analysis, we find that the accumulated return of the behavior policy, J pi b, is greater or equal to the return of the teacher policy, J pi t, under some constants. This lower bound performance guarantee is beneficial for the behavior policy. However, there is also a performance upper bound on the left side. This means the performance of the behavior policy is also constrained by the teacher. So, imperfect teachers can be misleading if we use the ECPO algorithm and the action-based intervention. In this paper, we propose a new intervention function that avoids the constraints of the teacher policy. We utilize a long-term value estimation to decide whether to let the teacher intervene. The teacher will tolerate the distinct actions from a student policy pi s if the policy pi t cannot perform significantly better. In the previous example of autonomous driving, the student action may have higher value if it proposes to overtake. Then the teacher will not take over and the mixed behavior policy can perform a successful overtake. Our analysis shows that this form of intervention keeps the lower bound performance guarantee. More importantly, there are no upper bound constraints anymore. In the experiments, we follow the previous setting with different levels of teacher policies. Our algorithm TX2C with a value-based intervention function is the additional blue line. It can outperform the baseline algorithms with all levels of teacher policies. Its performance is not constrained and can outperform imperfect teachers. Further experiments show that the algorithm can also maintain a low cost during training. We also show some live demos in the MetaDrive driving simulator. The first row shows the behavior of the teacher policy. It has poor performance and will crash into the obstacles and front cars. The second row shows the behavior of our TX2C algorithm. It can carefully navigate through obstacles and drive safely. That is all for this talk. You can check the project page and the open source code if you are interested. Hope you enjoy this work. Thank you.